Hi, welcome back everyone to a Sunday talk with eGoat47, and today, as the title implies, I went to the hospital. Now, I did went to the hospital for a very good reason, and that was because I was super sick, to the point where I could have died, literally. And if I didn't get there in time, I would have had a lot of bad things happen to me with my body. Now, luckily, I'm okay. Obviously, I'm talking to you guys, but I wanted to share my story about what's transpired, what's going to be the future for the channel, and what it is I'm going to do personally to not only be better mentally, but to be better physically and spiritually, if you will. First of all, I had a appendix rupture, or what normal people call it, appendicitis. And it's going to be about a little while before I get my appendix removed. Now, my appendix actually got inflamed, which means that it's going to be obviously either infected or very irritated to the point where I was unable to really do anything. Now, this transpired for about 3 days. I stayed at the hospital for 3 days. They juiced me up in antibiotics and did a lot of tests on me to figure out what it is that was really wrong with me. And truth be told, they were surprised, and they were actually telling me I was a little bit of a special case. And they mean that in the good way, because supposedly I actually ruptured my appendix a week before I even went to the hospital, and I didn't even notice. And all the nurses and doctors were telling me that I probably had a really high pain tolerance and didn't even notice until the very last minute before I started getting an infection on my appendix, which sucks, obviously, but at the same time, it kind of proves to me that I'm a really tough guy. I eat nails for breakfast and shit out lightning, you know what I mean? But in reality, it was scary because the infection could have made me go septic, and that's where that comes in. For those who don't know, going septic means there's going to be an infection in your blood. And that is a pain in the ass to deal with. That is a very dire situation, and that could have put my life on the line. Now, mind you, I couldn't have done anything for about this appendix anyways. Randomly, the appendix is just there, and doctors don't really know what exactly it does. Some support ideas that it's going to be boosting the immune system. Others say it helps with digestive system. But overall, you can survive without it, and honestly, it's not really a big deal if it gets removed. However, it does come with the random chance of exploding in your fucking abdomen. And I'm over exaggerating. It just gets really annoyed and then just dies. So that's what really happened to me, was essentially the appendix was saying, you know what, fuck this body, just left the fucking scene. So in reality, that can just happen to anyone. I know that sounds scary, but it's a rare case, but it's also pretty common as of lately. But not too common to the point where it's like, oh yeah, no, everyone's gonna have that. It's more like anyone could have this happen. It's pretty common that some people have this happen. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one that has this happen, but I was surprised that I wasn't crying or like dying because of my appendix rupture when it first started. So in other words, I am going to go into surgery about 6 to 8 weeks later, once I start seeing how I feel, how my body feels, how I, bounce back from this and taking all my antibiotics. And it was really scary. I will say that it was really scary for me and my family. I mean, obviously, my family members were really scared because guess what? Going septic means you have a high possibility of not having a great time with that. So, to be honest with you, it was really scary. And my girlfriend also was there with me and scared out of her fucking mind. She stayed there day and night, trying to make me feel happy, feel secure, and she stood by my side. So I'm very grateful for her. By the way, we also have talked about trying to get married after that situation because life seems to be short and come out the fucking blue with hooks left and right. So we're thinking about it. We're thinking about getting married. We don't know when though. We're thinking about it though. In other news, when the appendix ruptured, they just filled me up with a shit ton of antibiotics and stuff like that, but little did I know on how IVs worked. For those who don't know, IVs are essentially the basic nutrition that your body needs to survive, to stay hydrated, and also to stay alive. And for me, I didn't know that when it's shot up to your vein, all of that nutrients will accumulate into your kidneys, right? So I always found it weird to me that your veins technically can fill up your kidneys with fluids, which seemed odd to me because normally you drink water and that goes directly through your stomach, then goes to your liver, then goes through your kidney, right? So my thought process is, why is it we are able to put liquid stuff into our veins to then hydrate? It just seemed odd to me. And it was super odd as well that I didn't actually drink that much water through my mouth and I still stayed hydrated. That was so fucking odd to me. I didn't know how to feel about that. It's like people could technically live and just don't have to drink water if they put an IV bag above their head and put a syringe in their veins and just walk around. Like, genuinely, it's terrifying to think about, but potentially someone could do that. Speaking of IVs and stuff like that, I also learned that syringes are now plastic tubes. You know how on like TV shows they're like metal and whatever else, but in reality, the new syringes that have been out for I think a long time now, they are plastic bendy straws that go with your veins. So anytime you bend your arm or whatever else, it'll actually not impair on your vein. It'll actually just bend with it, which was weird at first, but then it made sense considering that if you just had a metal straw in your vein and then you try to bend it, it could potentially puncture your other side of the vein and then make you internally bleed, which is terrifying to think about, by the way. Fucking terrifying. But yeah, but this is where I'm going to talk about this comes in, and that's the change of the channel direction for the time being anyways. For those who don't know, I am a very high stressed person, high anxiety person. I really get stressed out over the most simple tasks on the planet. I don't know what goes on in my brain. Like if I want to fold laundry, I feel like I get overloaded really fast for some reason. And I don't know why that is. Honestly, I'm going to have to talk to a psychiatrist about it and figure out why. But in reality, it's always been a struggle for me for a long time to do simple tasks, complex tasks, or any task of that matter without feeling like I'm drained my entire body to do a simple task that normal people do, right? Because normally people would think, oh, I should probably just do my laundry. Then they get the laundry done. Or like, oh, I need to do dishes. Then you do your dishes. You get that done, right? And it's like the simple tasks at hand feel like complex. And the complex tasks at hand feel impossible to complete. And for me, I don't know why that is. But all I know is that it's very much a struggle every single day. And it's not been really helpful the past 3 months, and this year, honestly, 2025 feels pretty fucking ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. This entire year so far has been shots left and right at my family, at my friends. It's just been a pain in the ass. But I'm gonna continue on striving forward, trying to push forward through this shithole of a year and praying that everything works out. If not, then we'll just figure out something to fix the problem at hand. But yeah, for the most part, my channel is not going to be going and playing these games as much anymore. For now, anyways. Once I, heal from surgery and I learn to cope with my stress and anxiety, I'll get back into playing more and high stress games. But right now, I need it to not be that for my own mental and physical health. Because little did you know, stress actually impedes on the physical body. Because your stress can make your body overwork itself because you mentally are overworking yourself out, meaning that your body's reacting to how your mind is so that it can try to survive throughout the day. And for the past fucking 3 to 4 months, God forbid, we actually had one calming month. I assume in May I'm going to have another incident, which I pray not, but I'm just going to, mentally prepare for it. It's not been the best. But in any case, the whole thing about me playing games and playing those kinds of high stress games are going to be basically no more for the time being. I'll kind of consider this an arc, if you will, in like an anime. I'm going on a casual gaming binge where I can play casual games, chill out, have a good time, and talk to you guys while also just, you know, playing games that I enjoy. You know, there's a lot of games I really wanted to showcase to you guys, but I know it wasn't your guys' interest. You know, obviously you guys came here for VR games, FPS games and stuff like that, but for the time being, can't really do that. So there's some games going to be popping up here that I'm going to be, you know, showcasing here. First of all, Potionomics. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Potionomics. I think it's going to be one of those games that I enjoy. It's going to be very similar in content to Let's Gaming It Out or some other casual gamer channels out there, which, you know, I enjoy watching. So there's also Hearthstone. I'm going to play the hell out of that. That's a little stressful, but not like rage-inducing stressful, if you know what I mean. It's not like, you know, I'm going to get super mad at some fucking Magic the Gathering club where they just go out of their way to do the worst deck on the planet.
Second try.
Nice. And then I'm also going to play Minecraft. Obviously, Minecraft is kind of like the casual game. And I have a specific mod that I've been really enjoying. It's called the Create mod. I'm very much like a mechanical person. I love the little details and stuff like that. My girlfriend is trying to sew and trying to get her attention. What? You need scissors? I see.
I'm trying to sew your clothes, though.
Understandable.
Although I will be stealing.
So it's your clothes. She smiles at me. All right. But yeah, so in general, I'm changing the channel format to being much more casual games, maybe story driven as well. But yeah, it's sad that I have to go through this, but you know, it's something that I've learned now, and it's something that I'm trying to process because it made me realize that maybe I shouldn't be always stressed out all the time. And it's kind of hard to do that when I think simple tasks feel like the worst thing on the planet to do. So what I'm going to do is try my very best to make sure that not only this channel is going to grow with casual gaming, but also so that I can actually feel better myself personally without having my body destroy itself out of the fucking blue. Because God forbid the appendix decides to rupture again. It'd be fucking terrible. But anyways, I'm healing now. I got antibiotics in me. I've learned a few things from the hospital. And overall, I'm praying and hoping to anyone who is watching that I am, you know, I am doing okay. I'm letting you know now I am doing okay. And it's not going to stop me. Apparently, I'm the tough guy, as the nurses and doctors called me. But that's only because my veins didn't really show all too well, and they had to ultrasound my fucking vein. That was terrible. Well, you know, a little quick story before I end the video here. So my veins, right? When I'm underneath a specific lighting, the veins go dark. Like they just go dark. They disappear from the face of the planet. I don't know why, but as my girlfriend implies, I was also jaundiced too, meaning I was yellow looking. You know, when you look sick, right? You have that moment where you look sick, your skin changes and your body's reacting. Yeah, I was also yellow. And guess what? My veins look green on my skin, right? Or semi-green, but it's like underneath this, whatever, right? That in turn with also mixing with a color that's also within the same realm as yellow, it made the nurses go, we can't find the veins anywhere. Why don't we just ultrasound? And they ultrasound my vein, and that was the worst fucking needle that they put in me. That gauge was massive. Apparently, as they said, it was a really big gauge, because the vein down beneath my skin was huge. So they had to find something to kind of fill in that spot. And that was probably the worst feeling. But it was like at like a level 5 out of 10, you know, for pain level. So
to be fair, the vein finder was broken.
yeah, true. The vein finder was also broken. They had a vein finder. Yeah, it's like a UV light. And apparently that shit was broken. So they said, you know what? We're going to ultrasound you.
Not hard.
Yeah, whatever. All I know is that it was a pain in the ass and pain in the arm. Yeah, pun intended. Anyways,
This is going too hard.
I like how you're trying to interrupt my recording session the entire time. I love you. I missed you too. But yeah, with me being at the hospital and giving my girlfriend a scare, she's extra clingy, more than normal. So she's wanting to stay by my side the entire time and kind of evaluate my body. I didn't mean it to sound like that. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I meant it to sound like, you know, she's got to check my temperature. She's helping me get food in me and making sure that I stay healthy so that when the surgery comes, I can feel like the best version of myself, which I'm excited for. I'm actually really excited for surgery, even though it's a little scary. But they said that, you know, once you take in like a certain like amount of gas in your system, you'll be like you never even knew that you went into surgery. It was like a split second. And a lot of people have very similar deals. So I'm curious to see how that's really going to go. I don't know what that's going to entail for me, but they said it's a simple process. It'll take 15 minutes to get the thing out, which I'm surprised about. But at the same time, when you look up what an appendix is, it's literally a dangling little piece of like flesh in your body. So it's understandable why it would be a little easy to just nab out. But anyways, that's it for me. I thought I'd let you know what the deal is, what's happening with my channel, what's happening with me, what's happening with my family. And I want to let you know that everything will be okay, all right? Everything will be okay. 2025 may be a shit year so far, but I'm going to knock back that and try to come back tenfold, which hopefully will be the case. But worst case scenario, you know, we just have another 2020 and then we're just locked down in the fucking year.
Don't put that in the universe.
What?
Ew.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. But anyways, that's it for me, everyone. Deuces. Take care, y'all.